When we want to have fun in our life, normally, we choose to drink, we choose drugs, we choose to do everything that disconnects us. So the most important is taking care of our health. How can we explain to the young people the importance of being connected?
I think it goes back to what we said earlier in this program, because when we truly understand who we are, then the use of the drugs that destroy our body no longer is fun. The use of the alcohol that destroys our body is no longer fun. And the game of hurting or killing other people no longer becomes fun. And what it boils down to is when we understand the deep truth of our existence, we choose fun that honors that discovery. So it's about honoring the body. So when it comes to nutrition, for example, once we understand, and we really understand how delicate, the delicate balance within our bodies, and how complex our body is, and what our body can do to serve us, then we begin something, and I can't describe this in words, it's a feeling that happens, and it's like a little switch where all of a sudden the food that we used to think was good no longer looks good and tastes good because it means something different. So the heavy, fat, fried foods with triglycerides and high cholesterol, all of a sudden that food doesn't feel good in our bodies any longer. And you say, I think I'm going to have a salad instead. It can be that simple. It doesn't have to be a big mystical experience. But when the facts are clear, our choices become obvious. And I think and then we don't have to be told. You don't need a television commercial telling you what to eat and what not to eat. You don't need, a teacher in school telling you what's right and what's wrong. Once we understand who we are, the deep truth of our origin and our relationship to our bodies and our world, those understandings are an experience. And in that experience, there's a little switch. Something changes inside of our bodies. And when that happens, we find that we have a new relationship with our body where we try to show our appreciation and gratitude for the gift of our body through the choices that we make in lifestyle, nutrition, relationships. It goes across the board. We become more kind. It doesn't mean we don't have an argument, but we can argue with a loved one from a place of kindness. You could still have a disagreement, and we all do, but we don't have that disagreement from a place of defensive, lashing out, competition, conflict, and survival. It comes from a place of an honest sharing of ideas. And all of this, these are just words. We have to have the experience to know what those words mean. So what I will say is, and I've seen this in groups, we do extended format, retreats and things like that. And it doesn't take a long time. In a matter of days, it's possible to develop a new understanding of who we are. And once that understanding matures, it's like a filter. And everything that comes to us that goes through that filter has a new meaning. And we begin to choose, because it is fun, the foods, the nutrition that give life to our bodies, not the foods and the nutrition that steal the life from our bodies. And this was, I'm just going to say this in closing, not from a religious perspective, but from a deeply spiritual perspective. I want to talk about Jesus. I've studied Jesus since I was a kid, and I'm fascinated by Jesus as a man. How could a man come to this world so long ago with the understandings that he had and live those understandings in the world that he came to? And then what does that mean to me? So Jesus was raised in the traditions of the ancient Essenes, Essenes. There's a mysterious group. The Egyptians used to call them therapeutae, because the Latin word for healing, because they knew how to heal. And when his disciples asked Jesus, what should we eat? What is it that we should bring into our bodies to honor our bodies? The words that he said 2,000 years ago are just as appropriate today as they were then. And I think about this almost every day. So I'll share those words as we close. What he said was, the things that give life to your food will also give life to your body. And the things that steal the life out of your food will also steal the life out of your body. Therefore, eat only the things that give life to your body. And he was right on. If we look at what is sold in the grocery stores, the chemicals, the packaging, artificial ingredients, the sugars that are directly linked to Alzheimer's, directly linked to cancers, if you look at those things, those are the things that steal life from the food. It's going to steal life from the body because there's no nutrition. Mm-hmm. But if we eat the foods that come from the earth, if you eat foods that are grown or emerge somehow from the earth, those are the foods that are always going to give life to our bodies. And then from those foods, you make your selection. You know, are you vegetarian? Are you carnivore? Are you vegan? Or whatever it is. But if you eat the foods that come from the earth, and I, to the best of my ability, since I was probably 12 years old, I have lived that tradition in my life and honored myself to the best of my ability to do that. So this is an example of where science is now catching up with a very ancient tradition that was offered 2,000 years ago, not as science, but as a practical application in everyday life. So the better we know ourselves, the better equipped we are to embrace these deep truths and to live our lives to become the best people that we can be, Elizabeth, because that's what we all want. When we're good for ourselves, then we're present to love our family, and that's what we want. And we're present to serve in our community, and that's what we want. And we're present to live a healthy life and to enjoy rainbows and chocolate and love and sunsets, and that's what we want. Mm-hmm. So it just comes down to us. The better we know ourselves, the better equipped we are to embrace what life brings to us in a healthy way. And that's the key, to embrace it in a healthy way.
Well, I appreciate this answer. I appreciate you for this interview, for everything that you do. Really, thank you very much. Gregg, where can we find you?
So I have a website, www.greggbraden.com. It's Gregg, 2 G's, Braden.com. And it has all of the seminars, all of the retreats, all of the tours that I lead into the Yucatan and Peru, and a lot of information that's out there. And the website is growing. So check it out. And Elizabeth, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for inviting me back.
For me, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody. Thank you.